Hello, my name is Eric Vandenheuvel, and today I will be describing a 200-year-old mechanism called the fire extinguisher. The modern fire extinguisher was invented in 1818 by British Captain George William Manby and consisted of a copper vessel containing 3 gallons of potassium carbonate mixed with compressed air. Over the last 200 years, fire extinguishers have evolved to become more efficient and specialize at putting out different types of fires. Fire extinguishers work by removing one of the 4 elements from a fire: the heat, fuel, oxygen, or chemical reaction. Anyone can use one to fight a fire, but proper training is recommended. The way to use a fire extinguisher is to use the PASS method. The P standing for pull the pin, A is for aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, S is for squeeze the operating lever, and the second S is sweep the nozzle from side to side. And before using the PASS method, we have 2 steps that must be done. First, we must identify the type of fire. There are 5 classes of fire. Class A being ordinary combustibles or everyday materials such as paper or wood. Class B is any flammable liquids, which excludes cooking oils or grease, so that would be like a gasoline fire. Class C is electrical fires. Class D is combustible metals. And Class K is kitchen fires, including cooking oils and grease. Once the fire is identified, the next step is to identify the proper fire extinguisher to use. The most common one is the multi-purpose dry chemical extinguisher. These are effective on Class A, B, and usually C fires. These remove the chemical reaction from the fire. They're used in homes, offices, or any other public areas. Clean agent fire extinguishers are another type, and these are effective on Class B and C fires, but rarely A fires. These use gases such as carbon dioxide to remove oxygen and heat from the fire, and are used in places where contamination may be an issue, such as a file storage room, museums, or rooms with electronic equipment that you don't want to damage if it hasn't been damaged by the fire. Wet chemical fire extinguishers are effective on Class K fires, but can be used on Class A fires if that fire is in a kitchen. These remove the heat from the fire and create a barrier between the oxygen and fuel elements to prevent reignition. They're used in modern-day kitchens that contain a commercial deep fryer unit and aren't normally seen in residential kitchens. A dry powder fire extinguisher is effective only against Class D fires. These separate the fuel of the fire from the oxygen, in some cases remove the heat. These are used in laboratories or factories or any other setting involving flammable metals. Finally, the last type is a water extinguisher. These usually are water mist extinguishers and are effective against Class A fires. These can also be effective against Class C fires due to the use of deionized water that is not conductive and therefore prevents the risk of electric shock. They're good for use in small spaces where both contamination and chemical inhalation could be an issue, such as a small enclosed kitchen, historic buildings, or even some server rooms. One way to identify what type of fire extinguisher you have is by the color. Most fire extinguishers are glossy red, but specialized extinguishers such as the dry powder or wet chemical extinguisher may be a metallic gold or silver, whereas a water extinguisher sometimes will be a white and blue color. Regardless of the type of fire extinguisher, most fire extinguishers come in a pressurized metal cylinder with a metal, plastic, or vinyl handle, an operating lever, and a rubber hose. The size of the cylinder depends on the capacity, but they generally range from 1 to 2 feet tall, with a diameter of 3.5 to 7.5 inches, and usually weigh between 4 and 20 pounds. Class A and B fire extinguishers have their own special size ratings, and according to kaufmanco.net, those ratings for a Class A extinguisher refer to the water equivalency at a 1 to 1.25 gallon ratio. This means that if the rating on that extinguisher is 4, it's equivalent to using 5 gallons of water to put out a fire. For a Class B, the number is an estimate of how many square feet the extinguisher can cover. So if that number is 4, it could only cover 4 square feet of surface area to put out that fire. Now, all fire extinguishers are designed to be portable so that they can be carried from their wall mount or storage location to the fire quickly and safely. This is an example of what a fire extinguisher looks like if you were to cut it open. If you remember the pass method, it all starts here at the pin. You'd pull the pin out of the handle, and then You would take the hose, which is not shown here, and you would aim that at the base of the fire. And then you would squeeze the handle here with the operating lever, and that would open up this high pressure gas chamber. And then that releases the gas into the cylinder of the fire extinguisher and force out the dry chemical carbon dioxide or water. And that would go up the tube here in the middle and come out the nozzle here and out your hose, which you would then use that to sweep at the base of the fire. There is also a pressure gauge, and that is used to determine when your fire extinguisher is going to be empty, so you know when to get it refilled. There is a couple other parts that aren't shown here, and that is a label, which would be on the outside of the fire extinguisher, and that would show what type of fire extinguisher it is, what classes of fires it can put out, and the capacity of the container. The other thing that's not pictured is a inspection label, and that would be attached at the handle up at the top here, and that would provide a record of past inspections as well as letting you know when the next inspection is due. So that is the description of a fire extinguisher, and hopefully this information will help you should you encounter a fire in your lifetime. Thank you.